Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. And if this is the very first time you've discovered my channel, yay, you're here. You made it. I'm so glad. My name is Movie Review Mom. It's actually Trina Boice. And you can find me on Instagram under both of those names. And my job is to give you the inside scoop on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to spend your time or money watching a particular film. So that particular film that I'm reviewing today is called 12 Mighty Orphans. This inspiring drama is available in theaters nationwide on June 18th, 2021, but I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. What is really sweet is that the movie was actually released last week in Texas in honor of the football team of a Fort Worth orphanage who went on to play for the Texas State Championships. It's a true story and very inspiring. The movie itself is PG-13. It's an hour and 58 minutes, and I'll give you my movie review mom grade at the very end of my review. So first, in a nutshell, the summary of the movie is: haunted by his mysterious past, a devoted high school football coach leads a scrawny team of orphans to the state championships during the Great Depression and inspires a broken nation along the way. This old-fashioned sports drama is based on Jim Dent's nonfiction book called 12 Mighty Orphans, the inspiring true story of the Mighty Mites who ruled Texas football. And all of these guys have gone down in Texas history. So that's why I said I loved that it opened in Texas first before it's opening up everywhere else. It's the newest movie from director Ty Roberts, who previously brought us the movie The Iron Orchard. I don't know if you saw that, and who happens to be a Texas native. So I love that. There are lots of other things I really liked about the movie as well. First of all, Luke Wilson. He looks and feels like he really belongs in the Depression era. In other words, it doesn't seem like a modern day actor trying to fit into that time period. He is very believable, I thought. And to that point, Martin Sheen's role as Doc Hall fits him like a glove. Martin Sheen provides a lot of the comic humor in the movie, and he creates an endearing character who lights up the screen, honestly, every time he appears. I just loved his performance in this. And who doesn't love Wayne Knight? He gave us such memorable, naughty characters as Newman in the popular TV show Seinfeld, as well as the rascal Dennis Nedry in Jurassic Park. Do you remember that? Even farther back, he played one of the detectives in that famous interrogation scene in Basic Instinct that propelled Sharon Stone into a national sex symbol. So you'll get a kick out of his performance as well. I really like the entire cast, which also includes Robert Duvall, Treat Williams, and all of the actors who play the Dirty Dozen orphans, although the kids definitely look too old to be orphan kids at a school or at an orphanage itself. Still, they all did a really good job. I was surprised to see comedian Ron White playing a dramatic role. He did a great job. And in the very beginning, we get to see actual footage of the Great Depression, setting the mood for this time period of this film very, very well. The director also peppers various scenes with black and white footage to keep giving us the flavor of the Depression era. You learn about some new techniques that were used in the history of football, kind of in the beginning of the sport. And who doesn't love an underdog sports movie? It's somewhat cheesy, yet it's heartwarming. And what's wrong with cheesy anyway? It's also extremely formulaic, but this underdog sports formula has proven to be very effective in the history of filmmaking. It's used over and over again simply because it works. There's a lot of exposition from the narrator, but I really didn't mind. I liked the folksy voice of the narrator, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers on who that was or is. And then keep watching during the final rolling credits to read the rest of the story, as well as see pictures of the real people the movie and the book are based on. So there were a few things that I didn't like or thought could have been better, but overall, I really did like the movie a lot. In one scene at the beginning of the movie, the wife, played by Vanessa Shaw, is angry about moving to the orphanage to teach there with her husband. And she says it wasn't her decision. He made the decision. And so she's mad about it. And then almost in the next scene, she turns on a dime, spouting inspirational messages without our being able to see her personal transformation and how she arrived at her newfound attitude. So I kind of felt like I was missing a scene or something because her personality and attitude shifted so dramatically. So sticklers to the facts might feel a little bit disgruntled about the real timeline. President Franklin D. Roosevelt is included in the film, even though he wasn't really in the actual timeline of these events as they occurred. Some of the actors struggled with convincing Southern accents and that Texas drawl. There are a lot of flashbacks that might confuse some of the viewers, especially on the timeline and that kind of thing. None of the football action is new or sequences we haven't seen before. It's pretty standard, but again, it is early on in the sport. So, don't expect incredible action sequences. And then for some reason, there's a lot of vomiting. When I was in high school, I dated a football player, and I remember him telling us how they would work so hard to train that they would all throw up. And I was just like, oh, and so that's represented very well in this movie. Let me give you some tips for parents because overall it really is a family-friendly movie. However, there is a surprising amount of blood and violence and bullying, both among the kids and the adults. There's a lot of hot-tempered, aggressive males. And so I imagine feminists will definitely protest the toxic masculinity that's displayed in the film. Again, it was a different time, and that's kind of how macho men were, not to give it an excuse, but to help you understand the setting and the background. There are some crude comments, mostly about women from these guys. There's some light profanity, but not very much. But one of my favorite swear words is in the movie. Somebody says, "Dang it," which is actually the closest I ever get to swearing. I think it's just a cute word, and it's got those consonants that are so satisfying. So some of the themes that were illustrated really well in the film are courage and hope, persistence, brotherhood, and family in all of its shapes and sizes, power, and powerful symbols. I love that this team itself was a symbol for the nation of the United States of America, going through a very difficult time when the nation felt like it was an underdog trying to defeat the challenges of economics at the time. Other themes are believing in yourself and believing in something that otherwise might seem impossible, and then overcoming your past and believing that you have a future. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines so that you can kind of get a flavor for the film. And I include all of them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. But I'll share just a couple of them with you right now. So I looked at the funny lines that I wrote, and I actually didn't write any, even though there is a lot of humor. I think I was just getting into it and distracted and honestly forgot to write them down. But I did write a lot of interesting lines because, as in all underdog movies and this time period, there are lots of profanities exclaimed by people. So Luke Wilson plays Rusty Russell, this new high school coach, and he has a lot of wisdom to share. One of the things he says is, you've got to adapt to be competitive. And he tells that to his team. And then he also says, you can't give up. You got to believe. And that's kind of shortcutting a lot of his big wisdom to the team, but I want you to enjoy all of those moments. So I don't want to spoil too many of them. So you want to know what score I'm giving this? My movie review mom grade is an A. I think it's just a very sweet, tender-hearted movie with some great lessons and a reminder to all of us who are still pulling out of this pandemic and struggling through some tough times. So in lieu of giving you movie recommendations, I've got links down below for the original book, as well as another book about the Mighty Mites. If you want to learn more about these true people and the amazing things that they did and the legacy that they've passed on. All right, that's it for today. I will catch you in the next movie review. Be sure and join my Facebook group called Movie Review Mom, and run over to Patreon and check out some of the gifts that I have for those who support me over there. All right, bye for now.